4th and goal to go to the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video, and welcome to the Gridiron. And before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. I greatly appreciate it. If you give this video a thumbs up, or maybe leave a comment below, or possibly share the video, it would mean so much to me. But just anyway, just thank you so much for just taking your time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to do like a little state of the NFC East after week 3. I mean, obviously we know, okay, the Cowboys are in first place. They're 2-1. They got the Washington football team is 1-2. The Eagles are 1-2, and of course we know the Giants are, yeah, 0-3. Shocking, huh? Now, you know, obviously we got a long way to go, but just after 3 weeks, you know, you have to say, sadly, you know, the Cowboys look like they're, you know, got to be the favorites, early on favorites, you know, after 3 weeks, just seeing the teams play. I mean, because, you know, all in all, Washington is just, you know, and the Eagles, I mean, the Eagles look good the first week of the season. The Giants haven't looked good any of the games. You know, but I mean, the Cowboys, you know, they lost the first game, okay, of the that season. They lost 31-29, the opening game of the season, Thursday night to the Bucs. Now, they easily could have won that one if their kicker, Zerline, he missed an extra point, and he missed a 31-yard field goal. All right, so there's easily 4 more points the Cowboys could have had. So the Cowboys could have certainly won the first game of the season. Okay, you know, once they're putting up the points, you know, but they did give up some points as well too. Okay, now the second game of the week, the season, when they went into Los Angeles and beat the Chargers 20-17. That one they could have lost, but they won on the last second field goal. Zerline, you know, he made up for what happened the week before. He kicked a field goal, and they wound up pulling that one out, you know, against a very good Chargers team, so they won 20-17 on the road, okay? Then, of course, we had the Monday night game where they just whooped up on the Eagles, 41-21. I mean, Nick Sirianni, he looked a little outcoached there, and Mike McCarthy actually outcoaching you is not maybe necessarily a good thing. Nick Sirianni, their offense didn't look like it had many answers. You know, and your offense not having many answers to the Cowboys' defense is not an impressive thing. Although the Cowboys' defense does seem to be getting better, but more on that in just a second. Now the Cowboys, you know, obviously they're on their offense anyway. They were without Gallup. Okay, you got a problem with his calf, and they got Lael Collins, who's suspended. The moron, he was trying to, I guess he was doing a piss test or whatever I think it was, and he was trying to bribe the person in charge. What a freaking idiot. Absolute moron. But, I mean, you know, their offense, the Cowboys' offense is looking good. I mean, you know, Dak looks like he's back. I mean, Cooper, you know, Amari Cooper, you got ABCD Lamb looking good. I mean, Wilson, I mean, you know, he's looking good. I mean, this is a contract year for Gallup, so I don't think they're going to be re-signing him because they got so many other guys that they could want to sign or can sign or whatever. I think they're going to let him go. But Wilson looks like he's picking up the slack for Gallup not being in there. And then you got, I mean, you know, Dak may not be as nimble, as quick, maybe, as he was, you know, in the past. But I mean, he's just, you know, he's doing a very good job throwing the ball, and the run game is doing pretty good. Maybe not as well as it was in the past years, but it's doing pretty good. I mean, Zeke is doing a decent job. running the ball, okay? But then when Pollard comes in, he's a nice mixture. I mean, he can certainly take it to the outside. You know, you got maybe Zeke up the middle with some power, Pollard on the outside with a little speed and all of that. I mean, their offense is looking really pretty good. Their defense is without DeMarcus Lawrence, okay? But, you know, their first 6 draft picks this year were all on defense, you know. And so they got a lot of those guys in there. They're doing pretty good. Micah Parsons, you know, he may not be getting like 11, 12, 13 tackles a week. He may not be getting 2, 3 sacks a game or intercepting a passing game or whatever, but they got him all over the place. I mean, dropping in coverage, coming in through the middle, coming in off the edge. I mean, he's like a chess piece. He's like the queen with the chess. I mean, he can just do anything. You know, I mean, you put him anywhere. I mean, he's very disruptive. Very disruptive. He was a heck of a good first-round pick for them. They did good there. And then Trevon Diggs, I'll tell you what. I mean, I was impressed what he was doing against the Eagles on Monday night. I mean, his coverage was very good. I mean, I was looking at him covering like DeVonta Smith and all, and I'm like, man, that's what the Giants should be doing, like Bradbury and all. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, he had a very good game Monday night. So their defense is obviously coming together. You know, they gave up 21 points to the Eagles, but actually only 14 of it that was basically on the defense. So because Dak got stripped, he was in the end zone. Took too long to throw the ball, wound up fumbling, and Fletcher Cox came out of the pile with the ball. I don't even think he scooped it up off the ground. So he come running out of the pile holding the ball up. So I mean, their defense only gave up 14 points at home too. You know, so their defense gave up 14 points to the Eagles. Their defense gave up 17 points to Justin Herbert and the Chargers. So past couple of weeks, their defense has done pretty good. So I mean, all in all, okay. Especially in the NFC, you're talking offense and you're talking defense, right? You know, who has the best balance, without question, it's the Cowboys, okay? And they're 2-1. It's early, but yeah, they're looking pretty good. Now their next 4 games, okay, they got they got a couple tough ones. I mean, they got the Panthers, okay, who are 3-0. Then, of course, the Giants go in there. Giants are 0-3, and you know the Giants are just gonna have to outscore them because the Giants aren't stopping. I mean, the Cowboys are gonna put up at least 25 to 30 points in the Giants. Now, can Daniel Jones and the walking wounded wide receivers that we have put up enough points to outscore the Cowboys? And I'm sure we probably won't. I mean, it's we're gonna give it the old college try, but I don't think we're gonna do it. But so I mean, they got the Panthers. Then they got the Giants, okay. Then they go on the road, okay. Then they play in New England. Now, you know, it's maybe the Cowboys might be the better team and all, but you know, going to New England, it's a little difficult. You got Bill Belichick there. I mean, Mac Daddy Jones is the quarterback. You know, he's had his ups and downs this year so far, but that won't be an easy game, regardless, okay. And then next week after, then they have a bye, and then their next game after that, they're at Minnesota, who's 1-2. So, you know, the 3 other next 4 games are against teams with losing records. So they got the Panthers, and they got the Giants, the Patriots, and the Vikings, who all have losing records. So, I mean, the Cowboys could easily win 2 out of these next 4, if not 3 out of these next 4. So, I mean, possibly, the Cowboys could be what? 5-2 after 7 games, maybe 4-3 at the absolute worst. So we'll see. You know what I mean? So I mean, the Cowboys, they don't have a terribly tough schedule the rest of the way. Okay. Then we got the Washington football team, who of course is 1-2. Now, I mean, what they're supposed to be doing this year is, you know, their defense, right? Their defense was great last year. Right, they added to it this year in the draft. The defense should be a little bit better than it was, or at least as good as it was last year. I mean, so far it's been not too good. I mean, they've given up 92 points in 3 games. They're giving up basically like 31 points a game. Not very good. The first game of the year, all right, they lost a tough one to the Chargers at home, 20-16. Now Fitzmagic got hurt in that game, all right. Taylor Heineke had to come in that one, okay. But they lost a tough one. The Chargers are good. Then, of course, we know the Giants came in the next week after that. And of course, we know they beat the Giants 30-29 on a last-second field goal. But then they went into hostile Buffalo, okay, the last week, and they lost 43-21. Now, this is where, Taylor Heineke was looking a little pedestrian, shall we say. Okay, he was only 14 out of 24. He only had 212 yards. I know against the Giants, when they were at home, he was just walking them up and down the field. The Giants couldn't stop him in the last quarter or so. When the Giants really needed to make a stop, couldn't stop him. He just had him walking them up and down the field. He only had 212 yards against the Bills. He had 2 touchdown passes, but he also had 2 interceptions. Okay, the Washington football team, their running game against Buffalo, 25 rushes for 78 yards. Only averaged 3 yards a carry. All right, they were only 2 for 11 on third downs. They had 24 minutes and 23 seconds time of possession against Buffalo. They only had 290 total yards. They only had 13 first downs. All right, and they only had 50 total plays for the whole game. The Bills, on the other hand, okay, had 481 total yards against that Washington football team defense, right? They had 29 first downs. They had the ball for 35 minutes and 37 seconds. They had 77 total plays, and they were 9 for 15 on third downs. So the Washington football team on the road against a good quality opponent, right? Didn't get much yardage and gave up. They almost gave up almost 500 yards of offense. That spectacular, wonderful, powerful defense that the Washington football team has, right? Almost gave up 500 yards of offense. Now let's not forget the week before that. Okay, the Giants. All right, they had Giants scored 2 touchdowns, right? And we kept, what was it, 5 field goals? So 1 field goal, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the Giants scored 7 times, right, in that game. Now easily could have traded in, if that C.J. Board holding penalty, the BS holding penalty on C.J. Board wasn't called, the Giants would have scored a touchdown. If Darius Slayton actually caught the pass from Daniel Jones, that could have been another touchdown. So the Giants could have, scored. Yeah, and early on the Giants were in field goal range, and I forgot it was first or second quarter, but then Daniel Jones wound up getting sacked, and he got taken out of field goal range. If he just thrown something really fast or thrown something out of bounds or something like that, the Giants would have been in field goal range, and possibly we could have kicked in a field goal. So the Giants could have had possibly 40 points. So the Washington football team possible it could have almost gave up back-to-back 40-point games. So their defense is not as good as it was last year. Okay, so they're gonna have a hard time going ahead. And they got to play the next 4 games. Right, they got to play at the Falcons. Okay, so that's a winnable game. But if the Falcons, the way they played against the Giants, the Falcons could win that one. But then the Washington football team, they got to play the Saints. Okay, that's going to be a tough game. And they got to play the Chiefs. Okay, that's a tough game. All right. Then they got to play at the Packers. All right. So they got the Falcons, which is a winnable game. But then the next 3 games, the Saints, the Chiefs, and the Packers, they could lose all 3 of those games. So Washington could be in trouble by the next four games that go by. So I'll have to wait and see. But so far they're not looking super spectacular. Okay, a lot of teams picked them to win the division, and they're not looking so good. Then we come to the Eagles, who are 1-2. All right, first game of the year, boy, they look fantastic. Going in Atlanta and beating them 32-6. Their defense looked fantastic. Their offense looked fantastic. I'm like, man, this Nick Sirianni, he's got it going on. Then they came home and they lost a tough game to the 49ers, 17-11. Okay, then they got, as I said, basically they got kind of pretty much outcoached against the Cowboys on Monday night. They lost 41-21. I said their offense only scored 14 points. Jalen Hurts, trying his heart out, no doubt, no question about that. I'm a little skeptical if he's going to be the long-term answer for him. Now, as I said, they got kind of like a, I don't want to say a ticking time bomb, but I mean, they got Gardner Minshew, they got Joe Flacco, and they got Jalen Hurts. They got 3 quarterbacks that could step in there. None of them, I don't think, are the long-term answer, but they got 3 guys who've been starting quarterbacks in the past. I mean, so once you pull Jalen Hurts out, all bets are off. I mean, because if you got 2 quarterbacks, they say you really don't have any quarterbacks. Well, they got 3 quarterbacks, so they could be in a lot of trouble if they start, pulling guys in and out. And the thing is, they're going to have a couple of good draft picks next year in the first round. I don't know if there's anybody, super spectacular coming out where you're going to want to take a chance on, picking up one of those quarterbacks. I mean, it's still early in the college season, okay? But I haven't seen anybody really taking off in the college ranks. So if you're jonesing, if you need a quarterback in next year's draft, man, that may not be the year to take a quarterback. But anyway, I mean, the Eagles, it's the NFC East. The Eagles are going to beat the Giants at least once. I'm sure they'll beat the Washington football team at least once. When Dallas comes and plays the Eagles again in Philadelphia, that's going to be a whole different game. I mean, the Eagles and Eagles fans are going to be all fired up for that one. You know what I mean? So the Eagles are going to win some games. Are they going to go 8-8 or 9-7? I don't really see that happening. Now they got 4 tough games coming up. Okay. They're playing home against the Chiefs. Now the Chiefs are 1-2, but the Chiefs could easily be 2-1. Edwards-Helaire. I mean, when the Chiefs lost to the Falcons. When the Chiefs lost to the Ravens in week 2, the Chiefs were driving. They were down by 1 point. They were in field goal range. They handed the ball off to Edwards-Helaire. All he had to do was hold on to the ball, plow into the line, maybe get a yard or so. They were running the clock down. Okay, they were in field goal range. They run the clock down to almost no time. Kick a field goal, they win the game. Nope, he couldn't do that. Gets in there, gets the ball popped out. Ravens fall on the ball. Ravens ball, game over. So the Chiefs certainly could have won that game. All right, then they lost a tough game last week to the Chargers anyway. But I mean, the Eagles got to play the Chiefs this Sunday. Then they got to play in Carolina against the Panthers. Okay, then they got the Bucs coming here, okay, to Philly. I'm saying here. I live right by Philly, so that's why I said coming here. But the Eagles are home against the Bucs, and then they got to go in Las Vegas, and play against the Raiders. So they got 4 tough games coming up. All right, so the Eagles could easily lose 2 or 3 out of those next 4 games, and that'll put them even farther below 500. All right, so unfortunately, it looks like between Washington, the Eagles, and the Giants, they got tough schedules coming up. It looks like they're just going to keep going farther and farther south, and it looks like the Cowboys are going to go farther and farther north. So it's a long way to go. Injuries going to have, crazy bounces here and there, bad calls here and there. Injuries are going to have a lot to say and to do with the final tally in the NFC East, because we still got 14 games to go. But as of right now, it looks like the Cowboys are the cream of the crop. Then we go to the Giants. Of course, we know they're 0-3. They've scored 56 points so far. Last year, they averaged 17.5 points per game. This year, after 3 games, with all this firepower and all that, they got Saquon back. They're averaging 18.5 points a game. Absolutely freaking pathetic. They lost the first game of the season, obviously, to the Broncos, 27-13. Then they lost Thursday night to the Washington football team, 30-29. Then they lost this last Sunday, very uninspiring outing. They lost 17-14 to the Falcons. All the credit in the world to the Falcons. They hung around. They did what they had to do, and they won. So credit to the Falcons. Good job, Atlanta. You guys deserve the W on that one. But, I mean, just uninspired football from the Giants. And, of course, then we know the Giants got to play this Sunday. They're playing against the Saints, okay, who are 2-1. The Saints have only given up 42 points all year. It's the first game going to be in the Superdome. All all right, with fans since 2019. The place is going to be freaking going bananas. And if the Giants start turning the ball over and playing sloppy ball and this, that, and the other thing, it's going to be like sharks feeding in the water. It's going to be blood. And the Sharks are just going to be just devouring the Giants. And the Giants are going to get embarrassed big time if they're not careful. All right, so the Giants got to play in New Orleans. Then they got to play the Cowboys. And I said the Cowboys are going to put up 20 to 35 points easy on the Giants' defense. Can the Giants score enough points to outscore the Cowboys? And I highly doubt it, especially the way the Giants are going. Then they got 2 games at home. Then they got to play the Rams at home, who are 3-0. Who've only given up 62 points so far. So they're giving up like 20, 21 points a game. So they're not giving up a lot of points, all right? But they're scoring a lot, which is a problem for the Giants. Matthew Stafford's doing a phenomenal job at distributing the ball for the Rams. So the Giants are going to have a big problem trying to beat the Rams because the Rams got a good offense and they got a good defense. Not a good combo for the Giants, right? So and that's the first game that the Giants actually have back home after their Falcons debacle. So, I mean, if they get embarrassed against the Rams the way they got embarrassed against the Falcons, Mr. Mara's going to be really pissed off. Then they got the 4th game that they got is they're home once again, but of course they're playing the Panthers, who are 3-0, who've only given up 30 points in 3 games. So, not that the Panthers are like an offensive juggernaut or nothing, and the Giants could win the game, of course, but so far, I mean, the way the Giants are playing, the way the Panthers are going, it's going to be a tough game for the Giants. So, I mean, the Giants, out of the next 4 games, could easily, without question, lose at least 2, if not 3, and possibly even 4 of the next 4 games. And the Giants can go from 0-3 to 2-5, 1-6, or possibly, if things really go bad, 0-7. So, I mean, right now, just after 3 weeks, as I said, a long way to go. You're going to have injuries. You're going to have crazy bounces. You're going to have bad calls determining certain games and stuff like that. But, I mean, as of right now, it looks like the Cowboys are rising to the top. And it looks like the Washington football team, the Eagles, and the Giants are going farther and farther south. So, sadly, that's the way it is. But got to call Micah saying, well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!